today?
I brought Bodie here because he needs basic obedience training. He needs the come and sit and stay attributes. He needs to not run out the door when the door is open. Most importantly, he does not need to, or we do not want him jumping on people or furniture. We want him to walk on a leash calmly. We don't want him to pull. Is there anything else you can think of?
We want the basics to stay down.
Yeah, I said that. To stay. We want him to stay. We want him to sit. We want him to come.
And drive in a car calmly.
And drive in a car calmly. And this is Bodie, my boy.
Sit. I always have Bodie sit before I open the front door. If I'm taking him for a walk, I always start the walk this way, have him sit, open the front door. He stays in the sit stay. I step out through the boundary first. He waits till I come back. You see how calm he is? It's a great little exercise to do. Okay. And then I practice walking slowly through the threshold because one of his big issues is racing out through the front door when he's excited about going out. And so, of course, he's been here for 3 weeks and he's practiced this many, many dozens of times, and you see how much can change in just 3 weeks. And you start the walk on the inside of your front door with the leash on. The second you put the leash on, you start it with training. And the reward for going out there and being free is to do this the way we've taught him. So he's got to be calm. He has to stay in a sit stay. If he broke out of that sit stay, I'd reset him. Okay, like this. Put him back and step out again and back. And he knows that move, and most likely if he ever makes a mistake with you, he'll always do it the second time as long as you do these moves that he's used to doing here. And then out here, once we're on the porch, go, I'd release him. And then the next part of this video is going to be how we come out on the street through the gates. And now we are coming out of one of our yards. There's a lot of distractions here. There's a couple of barking dogs, which is good for our purposes of having him be calm with distractions. Other dogs could be one of them. Okay. And then sit here. We have a double gate before we come out on the street. And see, that whole boundary thing is really important, having him wait, stepping through to accentuate the fact that this is our boundary, not his. He waits till I come back. Never call him to you. That'll mess the whole thing up. If you call him to you, you teach him to chase you through the boundary, you weaken his sit stay. He'll have a much higher quality focused sit stay if you teach him he stays there no matter what, and he only leaves when you come back to get him like this. Okay, and he walks through a boundary respectfully with you. It's a much better way of doing this, and all you have to do is add that one little step. So I know that a lot of people in the past, old-fashioned trainers maybe, would have the dog come and call him out of sit stay. Please don't do that because it creates over anticipation in the dog. Sit, and makes for a weaker sit stay. So here we are at the curb, doing the same thing. Curb's a pretty major boundary. So what do you think happens when somebody does this at a curb or a doorway 100 times in a row, or hundreds of times in a row, which you can easily do? You live in a condo, so you're going to be taking them out 4 times a day. So there's a bunch of boundaries between you and the street, and then you have curbs. You could do this hundreds of times at different boundaries in a month. He's going to start, this pattern is going to be set where he only is used to going across a boundary with you like this. So if he's ever loose, he's going to not be so ready to just race across the street or race through a doorway, because he never does it because of the way you manage him through these places. And you had to take him on walks and take him past, across curbs and, okay, let's go, bud, come on. And through doorways and gateways and all that anyway. So why not use that as your training, as a tool for training? Sit, you have to go through there anyway. Use it as a beneficial way to teach him focus and calmness. So you can see he's super calm, he's very focused. And then when you're about to start the walk, so you're walking across the street in training mode, and then I had him sit and go. Now he's released and he's free. You can start your relaxing loose leash type of walk, which we'll show you in a second. Okay. So we're walking about 10 feet, doing a left circle, and sit. Good. Okay. Another 10 feet, left circle, sit. See how I'm rewarding him? Straight down, eye contact. Good. See how easy that is? So watch yourself. You're not going like this. You're not going like that. It's really important. It's a little detail, but it's really important. Okay, that when you're doing these left-hand circles and any kind of sit kind of thing, sit. And sometimes he just like blanks out and you have to help him. See, I actually said it twice, which I shouldn't have done. I never repeat a command. So when he doesn't, don't ever repeat it. Just do a little bit of pressure like that, like I did. His butt will hit the ground. Don't reward him though, unless he does it with your first command. So he doesn't get a reward for that one. Okay, I'm not gonna walk because we're running out of room. Sit, and good. See, he wasn't looking at me, so I tapped his head and he looked up. Reward. By rewarding him whenever you're doing a sit kind of exercise, he's looking up at you. Your central command, you want a lot of eye contact, and you'll see that because we reward him in this way, especially with the sits, down is different, but with the sits, he's always checking back with you. When you don't have a treat and he's just always looking up at you, you need to reward that. If I make a little noise or if I tap his head like that, he looks up, good. He's still in a sit stay. But you want to always reward that eye contact. It's a very, it makes that sit stay and that the power of the reward so much more powerful. He's actually looking in your eyes as you reward him. That's why we do it that way. It's just going to make a stronger bond between you and him. So those consecutive circles, those left-hand circles I was just doing, and then sit, it's a great leash walking exercise. It's one of the ways that I stopped him from pulling so much. And you've got the sit stay in there. When you turn left into the dog, it draws him back next to you. That's probably one of the biggest moves in dog training, is having your body stepping into him like this and your body doing all the work. Draws him back next to you. Sit. Which obviously alleviates the pulling if he's pulling. If you turn right, you're going to end up pulling him around in a tight leash. Tension on the leash creates everything bad, everything you don't want. Stress, tension in the dog, and you're forcing him to do something which never works well. As soon as you're not doing this and you're not paying attention, he's going to do his own thing. So that's obviously not dog training. So always do those left turns, really important. And these left-hand circle exercises, even if you just do like 6 or 7 a day, which would take you, a minute and a half total. I want to show you how I'm walking him. Most of the walk is on a loose leash and just on free time, so I want to show how we're doing that. So he's in a sit now. I'm going to release him. Go. We just crossed a busy street, and now we're going to have a little period of just free time. You see how as soon as you release him off the clock, off of work mode, he's back to his own happy, energetic self. All I did right there was I didn't go like this and let him pull me around. You do that, you're lost. You have to be in control. But it's not about being strong or anything. It's just about certain moves you do and certain moves that you don't do. So all I did was I let him go to the end of the leash. You got this tiny little prong collar, the smallest size that they make. The beauty of it is that it closes with the same pressure all the way around, the back of the neck and the front. He goes to the end of it. It closes like that. He backs up. It's a loose leash. That's what I've always done with him from day one, and you see the results. He just doesn't pull as much anymore. If he is, for some reason, he starts doing that again with you, which he's not doing here, which could happen because he's back with you. If you're not able to do all the things that I showed you, he might revert back somewhat. Just practice, practice your recall. Good. And see how I'm doing it? Left hand leash, right hand reward. Backing away. Good. Do you see how I'm doing it? He comes to the right hand target, which is a fist, not a half open hand, not anything like that. It's easy, just a fist. Underhand like that. His nose touches it, it opens up, he gets a little treat. I'm using this natural balance sausage, which is actually complete food. It's high value reward, but when he's eating this and earning these pieces of natural balance, he's actually eating part of his meal, so it's a great thing to do. If you wanted to practice a recall, like right now, I can't call him away from anything because he's totally into the whole training mode right now. If you want to practice that, use one of these. Go as a distraction. And call him away from it. Good. Of course, I'm letting him eat it. I'm letting him pick it up, but as soon as he's got it in his mouth, I call him back to me. You always want to practice calling him back to you away from something. Never call him to you when you're training, when you're practicing. Never call him to you when he's staring at you. That's not a real life situation. What a real life situation is he's moving away from you. He's interested in something else. Even just wait for him to turn away from you and call him back to you. It's adhering that command, choosing to turn away from whatever he's looking at or moving towards and coming back to you. So always, when you're practicing, wait till he's interested in something else or doing something else, and you have that distraction thing, go, you can say go, and then come, call him away from the treat. Good. See, he didn't even get it that time, but he still came away. Another thing that's really important that makes for a great recall, which is come, of course, is backing away. Standing still isn't half as good. When you back away, the dog's drawn to you, and that's the kind of recall you want. You say come, and he comes running to you, like he's doing, like really fast, not just a half-heartedly kind of walking to you, maybe, kind of, sort of. So it's, it's all about how you teach him this that matters. And if you use your target, you back away, come, with the command, good, you're going to have that. He already has a great recall. And 9 times out of 10, even now, after only 3 weeks of this, if he's off leash in the yard or something and you say come, he's going to come running to you. Way too soon for doing off leash. You need to practice on leash for a while as well. And if you ever wanted to really count on an off leash recall, you should be practicing at the park with a 20-foot long line, a longer leash, until you can call him away from anything and he responds every time, and then you can go off leash if you ever wanted to. But I'm just saying that in an emergency, most likely even now, he's going to come to you 9 times out of 10. And you practice more like this and it'll just get even better and better. But that come command is really important to having a loose leash, because if he pulls at all, you can always use that on a walk. And that's what I did for the last 3 weeks every day. And so he's so used to coming when I call him that he kind of like stays closer to me on the walk. And when I walk him, I just always keep that leash loose. If he goes to the end of it, I just do this and it makes it loose. And it's really, there's no command connected to that. It's just leash walking etiquette. So, and you see he's so used to coming when I call him, and this is after 3 weeks. If you do the same thing I've been doing here, you're gonna have the same thing in, maybe just like a week to 10 days, or maybe even 3 days. It's different with every dog and every person. Depends on how, how careful you are and exact you are about everything that I've taught you. So you do all this stuff and get my moves down, and you'll have this with him. Sit. We are practicing our sit-stay in a public place where people are everywhere walking past. And as you saw, I said sit, and he went there. If he doesn't do it the first time you say it, all you do is you pull up with a little bit of pressure, never repeat a command. All he knows is he heard it once, he ended up going there, which is why he'll do it most of the time now without any help. Stay is built into sit. As you can see, we positioned ourselves right here where there's a lot going on, a lot of people walking past. He has a very good sit stay, and he deserves a reward for that. Good. When I reward him, I always come to stand next to him like that. If he ever gets up, you're going to say no. Like, let's say he breaks out of his sit stay before you release him, and I'm thinking he might, look at all the crazy stuff. You probably didn't see this. Good. You probably didn't see this, but, you should pass by. But he thought that cart was coming right at him. He started to get up, and then he put himself back. That's how good his sit stay is. He's doing really well. And I rewarded him for that. You may have missed that because the cart was blocking your view. But anyway, if he ever gets up, okay. Let's say that he got up, you'd say no. Do a little reset thing like this. It's just a little trick. We know that if you turn the dog away from their mistake, it's like a freshen up, and it helps them make the right choice the next time you do it. So you do that and you just put him back. You don't say sit again, you just do this and put him back. And then he has to wait until you actually come back next to him, and you can release him by patting his chest and saying go, and he's free. Or if you're going to walk with him, you can say okay, and he's still in training mode, and you just continue to walk. down. You see how I did this as I said down? He's doing really well now. Most of the time when I just say the command, he'll go there. But I think he needed a little bit more time practicing his DOWN command. So you're going to continue doing this for at least a couple more days after he's back with you. Everything is done at once. It's down. We know that he's not completely solid on the command. Of course, his stay is rock solid, but it's just the command. We want him just the first time that he hears it just to drop like that. He's almost there, but no, you should go. You guys should go. Everybody is afraid to cross across the camera. So it's so much better than down. He hesitates, and then you do this, because you get stuck in that pattern forever. So just assume it's not quite as good as we want it yet. So for the few days after you get him back, just down. And then probably a few days later, you won't even need it. And we're here in this really super busy place. Good. See how I'm rewarding him? Just reward on the ground like that. He takes it off the ground. I'm just going to do a little basic downstay where I walk around him. And you guys should practice this all over, like at a curb, you know, where the sidewalk is clean, different parts of your house, your building. Whenever you can do a little downstay, good. Or sit stay. You're going to be practicing sit stays at every curb when you cross streets and all that. And he's just going to get even so much better than he is now with you practicing with him back in your environment. But this is exactly how to do it. And we bring him out here, and I've been practicing out here because this is the ultimate in giant distractions and noise and everything. And we know that, good, if we get a dog to this point here, he can handle almost anything in life. So that's why we do this video out in public, just to show you what he is capable of. And then to release him, he's waiting for you to come back next to him, pat your leg and say, okay, okay, and then sit. Really important. Don't just release him straight out of a downstay, because what he'll start doing is hopping up and running around. But if you end that downstay on a sit, so I said, okay, he stood up and I have him sit, it's so much easier to release him from a calm sit stay than a down, just to make sure that at the end of the process, he keeps some of that calmness in him. So we always have him sit and pat his chest, go. Because he's an energetic dog, and you see when he's on free time, he's like back to himself again. So that's why we always release him out of a down, up, okay, and then have him sit and release him to be free from a calm sit state, just like that. So always release him from a down in that way. We have chosen a person that Bodie doesn't know, has never met. We're out in public. We're going to do the greeting routine. We're going to give this man some of the natural balance. Bodie's in a sit stay. I come back to him. I say, go say hi. He goes over, gets a treat. Good boy. Give him the treat. There you go. And he's got stuff in his other hand, but if he had that hand free, he would pet him. Come! And I call him back to come to me. We'll just do it a couple more times just to show you. It's a great little training exercise. Sit. You can do this with members of your family, like when they come home from work, when he's super excited. We're doing this in a very exciting, kind of stressful situation, when things are happening around us, just to show you that he can actually focus with a lot going on around him. You'll likely hardly ever have him in a situation that's this intense, so hopefully not, but we just want to show you where he's gotten to after the training. Go say hi. Treat, give it to him, and you can pet him. Did you give him everything? Give him everything. Yeah, pet him, good boy. Come! And I think he was about to jump, so watch him, because he used to jump a lot when he was excited. You want to eat that? You drop a little piece. Look, buddy. So you can always use your recall. Sit if you think he's getting super excited and he's about to jump on somebody. One more time. Treat. He's so good, like he wants to play with that dog, but I told him to sit and he stayed there. Go say hi. Treat, petting, no jumping. Give him the treats. You before he jumps, come. And you can tell he's getting super excited. But you use that recall if you think he's going to jump on somebody, call him back to you. But of course, you guys know that at home with the family, if he's jumping, it's nope. That'll stop the jumping right away. Like, he knows that move a lot. And then when he doesn't jump, it's good. He jumps, no. When he doesn't jump, good. He already knows, hey, everything good happens to him when he's on all fours like that. Like, all good stuff happens. As soon as he jumps or starts being obnoxious, it all stops. Hands move away. He sits in front of you. Hands move towards him. It's very clear. It's laser beam specific to the dog. Like, what gets him attention now and what takes attention away. So you starve out behavior that you want to go away, and you feed the behavior that you want to grow in strength. That's what we're doing with that. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for your help. Sit. You always have him sit before you send him to the mat. Pat his chest. No. He loves his mat, so he's going to want to jump the gun. Always with anything. Always make sure he really waits for you to release him out of his sit stay. Go, and then, okay, a little bit further. Come on, buddy. Okay. And then down, lead him to the middle of the mat. It's really important that he's not like hanging off the mat or halfway on the mat. Just put him in the middle of the mat, and you say down, goes down, and then good, takes the reward off the mat. This is really important that he's not grabbing the food out of your hand. So see how he's waiting respectfully? Good. I withdraw, and he takes it, and I say good. So this is how I taught him his really solid stay in such a short time. From day one, I was doing this exercise with him. Whatever he learns on this mat translates to real life. As you can see in the other clips, how he's a great downstay and sit stay in public. So it's because of doing this from day one. For using the mat is it's a fast track to teaching him this behavior. And I won't go into why it is, but it just is. And I can tell you in person, but him identifying one behavior with this piece of fabric, and then you start moving it to different places, it makes his downstay so much better, so much quicker in other places as well. You don't have to use this one or one like this, but you need to use something that's kind of not doggy bed like, but more thin like that. It's a training mat, and you can get them online, or you can just use a big bath mat with a rubberized bottom. If you have slick floors, good. Get something with a rubberized bottom, because a beach towel or something like that is just going to scrunch up and slide around, so that's not going to work. So you need something with a rubberized bottom, but a big bath mat would work fine as long as it's bigger than his body, like this one. So from here, and we're doing this one out in the yard today, just because he was so easy and so good in the house, it was not a challenge. So we're going to do good. We're going to show you how he is, like when I go through gateways like this. If you're ever going to do something that you think is difficult for him to handle, it's okay to remind him, down. And in this little clip here, I'm going to try to do something that makes him make a mistake, so I can show you how to deal with a mistake. Going out both gates, disappearing, he's alone in the yard, coming back, good. But it's not likely that he makes a mistake, because we've been practicing so much lately that he's just doing really well. Good. I'm going to walk way behind him, close this gate behind me. See how he's not turning his body, he's just turning his head. That's perfect. If he were to turn around on the mat, that would be a mistake. It's okay if he looks, but he's got to keep his body straight like that. And we went through a few days where he always would turn around, then he learned. He could look, but he can't turn his body. He's going to get a big reward for that. Good. There's all kinds of things you can do. Most dogs, when they come here, if I pull on the leash, they'll get up and come over to me. Good. Good. So he didn't, because he knows he only leaves that mat one way. I could go through other gates and do other things. It would be the same. He's just really good at this exercise. And you want to do this at your house too. You don't have a yard, so you should do it inside, and we'll practice it when I bring it back to you in one of our lessons. But you want to put your mat down somewhere in the living room or entranceway away from the front door. Go outside, knock on the door, ring the doorbell, come back in, reward him. Go to different parts of the house, reward him. And good. Just find things that really rattle him, like that's hard for him to focus when maybe it's going into your kitchen and unwrapping something, the sound of cellophane or something like that. There's always something in a household that the dog really gets excited, when you do it. And then if he makes a mistake, then we'll work through that problem. and then show you how to do other things. But it's all about just staying in a down state and focusing no matter what the distraction is, because we're really after the byproduct of being able to do this, which is, okay, see how I release him, walk him off the mat, have him sit, and then release him from that sit stay, go. The byproduct of doing this and all the sit stays and down stays that we're doing is that when he's on free time, which is the vast majority of his day anyway, is on free time, he's not going to be training. When he's on free time, that he's just an overall calmer, more stable dog, easier to handle, less excitable, you know, always ready, come, you know, to come to you whenever you call him, whatever. So we're really after doing it in the specific way that I've showed you in all these clips, doing it this way. That's, you know, the devil's in the details. How you do it is what really matters. But that when you release him, he's a little bit calmer, a little bit more stable every day that you do these exercises.